Welcome to MandM Beyond Words. Today we are discussing the Epstein Files. What they reveal, the crimes that were proven, the people who were convicted, and the wider lesson about power, association, and accountability. This episode contains discussion of sexual abuse and exploitation. Viewer discretion is highly advised.
This is not about rumors. This is about facts, court records, and what the justice system has confirmed. Who Jeffrey Epstein was? Well, Jeffrey Epstein was a wealthy financier who built close relationships with powerful figures across politics, business, and global institutions. In 2008, he was convicted in Florida for soliciting a minor for prostitution. That case ended with a highly controversial plea deal that allowed him to avoid federal charges.
In 2019, Epstein was arrested again on federal charges for sex trafficking minors. Prosecutors alleged he ran a long-term abuse and trafficking operation involving underage girls across multiple locations. Epstein died in jail before his trial. His death ended the criminal case against him, but not the investigations into his network. Convicted associates. It is important to name people who were actually convicted. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's long-time associate, was convicted in 2021 on federal charges related to sex trafficking minors. Prosecutors proved she recruited, groomed, and facilitated abuse of underage girls for Epstein. She is currently serving a lengthy prison sentence.
Another figure closely linked to Epstein was Jean Luc Brunel, a modeling agent accused by multiple women of sexual abuse and trafficking connected to Epstein. He was arrested in France but died in custody before trial. Because there was no conviction, the case remains legally unresolved. The Epstein Files. The Epstein Files are millions of pages of court documents, emails, flight logs, and testimonies released from civil lawsuit and sealed records. These files show how Epstein moved within elite circles, meeting politicians, business leaders, academics, and royalty.
Many names appear in these files. That doesn't mean those individuals committed crimes. Being listed in an email, contact book, or flight log is not a proof of guilt, but it does raise serious questions about judgment, oversight, and how Epstein maintained access even after his first conviction. The island and the crimes. Little St. James, Epstein's private island, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, was described in court filings and survival testimony as a location where sexual abuse of minors occurred. Victims reported being recruited with false promises of work or opportunity, then coerced into sexual acts. These allegations were supported by multiple testimonies, travel records, and investigative findings.
These were not isolated incidents. Prosecutors described an organized system designed to exploit, control, and silence victims. The harm was repeated, deliberate, and severe. Power and association. One of the clearest lessons from this case is how power seals wrongdoing. Epstein retained influence even after a criminal conviction. People continued to associate with him because of his money, connections, or perceived usefulness.
This is why association matters. Who you align with reflects your values and sometimes your responsibility. Looking away, staying silent, or choosing convenience over ethics allows harm to continue. This applies to leaders, institutions, and individuals alike. What the files mean today? Since the release of the Epstein Files, public figures across multiple countries have faced scrutiny. Some have been questioned, others investigated, and many forced to explain past connections.
For survivors, the files matter because they validate years of ignored warnings and dismissed voices. Accountability may be delayed, but it still matters. The Epstein case reminds us that justice doesn't stop with one person.
Be careful with your actions. Be careful who you associate with. Power should never protect abuse, and silence should never outweigh human dignity.
True.
Thank you for watching MandM Beyond Words. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.